This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I love being here helping you with playing the guitar. In this video, I'm going to explain major 7th chords, and we're going to learn the 6 different major 7th chords that we play in the open or first position. After we've learned these chords, of course, we'll jam together on some chord progressions using them, and as we're jamming, we will have bass and drums accompaniment, which I've recorded for this video, so it's going to be super fun. This video accompanies Lesson 22 from my Chords and Harmony Books 1 and 2 method book. In the book, we're going to be on pages 143 and 144 as we get started, and then as we're jamming on some progressions, we'll be on pages 148 and 149. Alright, so let's get started here. First, what is a major 7th chord? So we've played some 7th chords before. We've played A7, D7, C7, G7. Those are different. Let's look at the difference. First of all, a major 7th chord is a major chord. So we're going to be playing a major chord, and we've learned that the major chords have the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. And I'm just demonstrating this in the key of C, so C, E, G. And for our C chord, of course, way back in the day we learned that we can also double those pitches in more than one place, which sometimes happens as we're playing these chords, especially in first position, the ones we've learned, and the bar chords and movable shapes we've learned. They a lot of times have pitches doubled, even tripled within them. But it takes that root, 3rd, and 5th, and we get that major chord. Now, if we add from a C major scale, step number 7, we get a major 7th interval sound added to that chord, and we get a C major 7 chord. You'll see that explained there on page 143. The major 7th chord is a really rich sound. If I add that E on top, I get that full C major 7 voicing. It's a really rich sound. It's not something that we see all the time. It's sort of special. When we run into it in the chord symbol, we have to see something in front of the 7 telling us it's major. A triangle in front of that 7. Something like M-A-J or M-A, something telling us it's a major 7th. Or an uppercase capital letter M in front of that 7. Those are the common ways that we might see it in chord symbols to see major 7th, and you can see some examples there on page 143. Now, we need to note that when we see just the 7 and then the root, that is not a major 7th. This is actually a dominant 7th chord. This is the type of chord that we've had a lot thus far in the lesson series that has a 7th in it. So C7, we have a 7 just thrown on. It's actually a minor 7th or flatted 7th by comparison to the major 7th, and we get a different sound. So over on page 144, you'll see that explanation, and you'll see the diagrams there, which should be mostly a review for you as we've played almost all of these chords before. But just to explain and demonstrate by comparison to C major 7, we would instead have that C, E, and G, so the root, 3rd, and 5th, and then the flatted 7th. So root, 3rd, 5th, flatted 7th. Oh, I just made it sound a little minor there. It's a big reach to get them all in. So you get that flatted 7th. If I drop the 5th in first position, we're familiar with this particular shape, this particular voicing. It's got that bite to it. C7, D7, G7, F7 if we were to play that one, E7, A7, all B7, all those chords that we've learned are dominant 7th chords. They're a major chord with the flatted 7th. They usually function as a 5 chord in the key. That's where the name dominant came from. It goes with the theoretical function. But that's not the focus of this lesson series. We just need to understand what chords we're playing when we see one chord symbol versus another. So when we see just the 7th thrown on with the root, we know that we're playing the chords that we've already learned as shown there on page 144. And when we see the chord symbol that has a triangle, a major, capital letter M in front of the 7th, we know we're playing the major 7th sound. Okay, so let's learn these. We have A major 7, C major 7, D major 7, E major 7, F major 7, and G major 7 that we can all play in open position. Most of the time getting these happening means replacing a repeated root that's in our regular old major chord and throwing in the major 7th, which is 1 fret lower. But let's go ahead and look at these individually one at a time. So if we start with A major 7, you'll note index, 1st fret on that 3rd string, and then middle and ring fingers in that 2nd fret on the 4th and 2nd strings. So if I play that here, we get a nice A major 7 sound. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. Now, getting used to finding this, you could go back and forth between A major and A major 7. That's one way to just kind of get comfortable with that. So there's our A major 7. Let's take a look at C major 7. I was just using that one as I demonstrated the theory of this chord. For this one, with our C chord, all you have to do is take off your index finger, which is really nice. So ring finger at the 3rd fret of that 5th string, middle at the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then the top 3 strings are open and we don't play the low 6th string. So you just get a nice C major 7 there. Isn't that gorgeous? Now to practice this one, you can go back and forth between C and C major 7 and get used to that. Just like that. Let's take a look at D major 7. With this one, from our D major chord, we normally have a ring finger at the 3rd fret. You'll notice that we're down 1 fret there. That's how we're getting that major 7th sound. With this one, we can just bar across the top 3 strings at the 2nd fret with our index finger, play the open 4th and don't play the low 2 strings, and that's as easy as that. Get a nice D major 7 sound. Now you can practice going back and forth with this one between D and D major 7, just to kind of get used to finding it. From there, we'll take a look at E major 7. Compared to our E major chord, what's normally at the 2nd fret on that 4th string is now at the 1st fret. So that's a way to help remember it. We're going to take our index finger and put it at that 1st fret on the 4th string, middle at the 1st fret on the 3rd string, ring finger at the 2nd fret on that 5th string, and then we play all of them, all 6 strings. So the rest are open. So looks just like that. Isn't that a gorgeous sound? To get used to playing this one, of course, you can go back and forth between E major and E major 7. Sorry, our E chord and our E major 7 chord. Just takes rearranging those fingers. Let's look at F major 7. F major 7 is actually easier to play, I think, than our normal F that we play in first position because we don't have to do a little bar. With this one, we have the 3, 2, 1, and open. It's actually kind of cool. If you've been working on notation with me or you already know how to read notation, then you know that spaces on the treble clef staff spell the word face, F-A-C-E, and that's what we actually have here with an F major 7 chord, F, A, C, and E, 3, 2, 1, 0. It's kind of a cool little pattern. So all we have to do is leave that top string open, play index of the 1st fret of the 2nd string, middle at the 2nd fret of the 3rd, and ring finger at the 3rd fret of the 4th. We don't play the low 2 strings, and we get a gorgeous F major 7. Of course, with this one, you can practice going back and forth between F, where we bar across that top string, and then F major 7, where we leave it open. So there's that one. Let's look at G major 7. With this one, with our G chord that we've learned, we usually have our pinky or ring finger, depending on how you're fingering it, at that 3rd fret on that top string. Now we're down to the 2nd fret to get our major 7th in there. We're going to play the inside strings open, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings open, but otherwise, index finger goes at the 2nd fret on that top string, middle at the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and ring finger at the 3rd fret of the top or of the low 6th string. Get a G major 7. You might note it that playing G7 to G major 7 just takes 1 finger difference on what fret we're on, and see that can be a way to associate the 2 chords, G7 with that flatted 7th versus G major 7th with the major 7 or natural 7, and the 2 different sounds that you get. And that might be a way to remember it, how to get to the fingering easier than G major. Now if you play G like I do, you use middle ring and pinky most of the time, then it's just a matter of pivoting back and forth between the pinky and the index finger, going from G to G major 7. So there's that one. Now that's kind of a really fast overview, but we'll start to get them more as we start jamming together on some chord progressions. So we are going to play numbers 6, 8, 10, 11, and 13 to practice these, and that'll be on pages 148 and 149, and we'll just go right in order like that. So number 6, number 8, number 10, number 11, number 13. Each one of these is going to happen twice, a slower tempo and a faster tempo, and for all of these I'm just going to use the down, down, up, up, down, up strumming pattern. So as we're working on these new chords, we'll just stick to some strumming pattern that is completely familiar to us. And if you want to use another strumming pattern that works with the drum groove, you can do that. It doesn't matter if you match me exactly. We'll work on these chords. Now, it can be helpful if it's not easy for you to just grab them, to go through the chords in the progression, and anywhere you have a little bit of trouble getting from one to the next, just finger back and forth between those. So if you're going from an A major 7 to an E7, you just want to go back and forth between those over and over until you get comfortable with it. Then you could add the strumming pattern in. Once you have it, then you're ready to start jamming with that progression right along with me. You also can just focus on the fingering hand and not worry about strumming at all as I play through the video for you. You can just work on grabbing those fingerings, put all of your focus there, and then try to get the strumming happening when you're ready for it. But it's going to be fun working on these chords, such beautiful sounds. Let's go ahead and play these progressions together. All right, awesome. I hope you're having fun with this. If you ran into a dominant 7th chord that you couldn't remember, hopefully you just glanced at the diagrams there on page 144. We have played all those before, so I didn't go over them in the instruction, just focusing on those new major 7th chords. In the next video that comes out that goes with lesson 22 in the Chords and Harmony book, we are going to look at minor 7th chords, which will be super cool. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.